Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.
Ouch. Right in the heart with a silver bullet.
I think they plotting on that. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the L.A.R. I feel a cold stare.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving, man. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. This is what I like talking about. The fight. Canelo versus Crawford. This is just my take on everything. Might be some predictions. There's all kinds of stuff in here. So, first and foremost, you got to thank those two men for taking this fight. Just because it's a big fight, you got a lot of fighters running and ducking from big fights because they got, it might be a little too dangerous. So to make a big fight, you got to have two fighters who are willing to make a big fight. So hats off to both of them. Now, Canelo is, bigger man, bigger puncher kind of thing. And as far as boxing is concerned, he is. He's been at that weight for a while. That's what he's accustomed to. He's accustomed to everything that goes with it. So he has an advantage. I think the ring's smaller too. I might be wrong, but I think the ring's smaller too. And he's a person that's gonna hunt you and walk you down. So that's an advantage. He's actually the younger fighter in this. That's an advantage. There's a thing about this though where people forget, like a lot of people go up in weight and win belts. That's not a new thing. Like, people say, a good big man beats a great little man. And I get it because they're weight classes for a reason. But there are people who've won in 3, 4, 5 weight classes. Ain't nobody did 8 like Manny. That's the only one, But going up in weight is something that has notoriously been done over the years. So you got to be the guy one night. One night. You got to be better than him one night. So that's a thing too. Can you beat Canelo and be a smaller man? Yes, because Floyd beat him. He was a smaller man. But the difference is that's Floyd. Everybody puts Floyd on a high pedestal. Like, he beats people. That's what he does. Do they think Crawford is like that? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But he's he beats up people. Canelo. See, what's interesting about Canelo is this. I think he's been sleeping for a while because he's really hasn't had to come with it. Sometimes, in my opinion, he chose easier fights. So he hasn't really been in the fire consistently. You get what I'm saying? He's had a lot of big fights, but he chose easier fights than what could have been in front of him. On the other hand, they be like, Bud didn't fight anybody. And I'm like, he had harder fights because nobody wanted to fight him. That's what, you got one guy that can pick him. You got one guy that's avoided. So, can Canelo wake up for this fight? I think that's more difficult than Crawford being ready for this fight. You get what I'm saying? So let's just say if Canelo is woke and he looks like him 5-10 years ago against certain people, you go, oh, I'm gonna go, okay, much respect, because I didn't think you could just turn on the switch like that. Because, like, forget it, now I'm ready to go. Because normally that's not how it works, and especially when you get older, that's not how it works. You got to stay in that mix. Tactically, this is gonna be interesting because both of them really like to fight. You know what I'm saying? Both of them really like to fight. Canelo don't like people who moving around and giving them angles and footwork. He don't like that. And Bud will move around, but I'm gonna move around so I can figure out how I'm gonna hurt you. So you got two people that's going to engage, and when you have that engagement, I will say that favors Canelo, but it's a lot of stuff going on. Like, Here's the thing. Energy is one. So I expect Bud to have a higher punch output because Canelo really don't throw a lot of punches. He's not a high volume puncher. He's great counter puncher, great puncher. He's punching with bad intentions, but he's not like a high volume type of person. He's gonna wear you down and then he gonna go for the kill. But he'll piece you up. He'll throw a lot out there. And the interesting thing about this is with the weight, how is that gonna look? You know what I'm saying? So when I say energy conservate, it's about energy. Here's the thing. You save a lot of energy walking a person down or standing your ground, but it's dangerous defensively because you can get rocked like that if you're not sound defensively. But it saves a lot of energy, like being right there in the phone booth. It does if you can, like if you got good defense. So if Bud was to like move around some, that takes something out of you. And on the flip side, if you're the person who tries to walk the person down, if that person starts goading you into chasing them, it goes from you conserving your energy to walking the person down to you getting tired because he's sticking and moving and he popping you and you getting frustrated, and now you're expending a lot of energy. So the energy conservation is gonna get interesting because you know um I don't know if Bud can put a high output out there with the weight, and I don't know if he can move around like he usually does. Even when he's taking breaks with the weight, because that takes a lot out of you. But the thing about Canelo, he throws with bad intentions, and that's why I say he doesn't throw a lot because he throws with bad intentions. So if you normally watch him, you'll see him maybe around 6'7". It's not necessarily he looks gassed. It's that at that point, fighters see like, oh, okay, I can see all his punches. So at that point, you make it to around 6. Really, what I haven't seen from fighters is when they make it to that level where they see his punches, they can evade his punches, but they don't counter. And I think that's the prime time to counter him. You get what I'm saying? So Canelo might let Bud tee off just to see if he can tire him out, and then go, okay, let me walk you down now. And at the same time, Bud might be like, oh, okay, if you keep giving me openings, this might turn into a David Benavidez style fight where the output is just gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up. And I'm not sure Canelo's ready for that either. And that's the weird thing because I don't know if Bud could keep up that output. The punch and power thing, though. Canelo throws with bad intentions, for sure. Power, for sure. The only thing about this is timing. Bud got good timing. He takes some gambles, some risks, but he got good timing. And he doesn't look like he's hurting people. Like half the time when he's hitting people with shots, it's like, man, that don't even look like it hurt. Well, it was good timing, good speed, good power, good placement. So can you knock a person out like that? Yeah, you can, but you can hurt people a lot like that because you catch them. You catching them at certain spots. If either fighter, I know Canelo's going to the body. So I'll say this. Let me back up. Because of that, I'm going to see early if Bud punches hard enough to get Canelo's respect. Because if he doesn't punch hard enough to get Canelo's respect, Canelo's just going to try to walk through him. That's what's going to happen. They're going to put Bud on his bicycle and hope he tire Bud out. Thing about Canelo is he's always susceptible to the jab. I don't know why. Like when he's going backwards and using head movement, he's hard to hit. But when he's coming forward, oh no. If he's coming forward, he's standing still, it looks like he just get tagged all the time. And I'm thinking like you catch him, like when he's moving back, he got his feet together because he got great balance. But when he's moving forward, I think people are catching him between the footsteps. Some of y'all don't know, might not know what I'm talking about, but you know when you walk in 1, 2, 1, 2. So when he bop, he get hit, bop, he get hit, bop, he get hit, bop, he get hit. It's that. And sometimes it's the angle too, but it's it's gonna get interesting in this sense because I I'm nervous in this aspect. I think Bud is gonna pressure Canelo because I don't think Canelo. I think Bud's gonna do to Canelo what Canelo does to people, and see how Canelo reacts. I think Bud's gonna hunt Canelo to see how Canelo reacts. Let's see if you used to walking people down. Let's see if you can fight off the back foot. Now that's a heck of a gamble to take, but if you can get that done early, you might change the course of the fight. Now the problem is going to be when that standoff between both of them, where they're not trying to give an inch. Like at some point, somebody got to move. You get what I'm saying? And the issue with that is, if Canelo gives up an inch, it's going to go downhill for him. If Bud gives up an inch, it could go downhill for him. But he can actually adjust and then reset and come back to that and see if he can make him give up an inch in a different way. So that's where this is interesting. Like people talk about boxing IQ, they both got a high boxing IQ. Both got a high boxing IQ. So don't get it twisted. Like Canelo's smart, sharp puncher. The issue usually with him is people think he hasn't knocked out people in a while because he's been fighting bigger people. That's why he's been fighting bigger people for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He's been fighting bigger guys for a minute, so he hasn't knocked out the bigger guys. Now the question is, because people are like Bud's been down, Bud's been hurt. That's true. I don't know how he can take a punch at 68. And people can't use both of their last two fights because they didn't look that good in their last two fights. But Bud's Madrimov was awkward, and that gives people problems. And Skull didn't want to fight, so that doesn't give people anything. So the issue becomes when two people are engaged, what you gonna see? And I think if Canelo goes, okay, he can't handle my power, cool. Because if he's approaching it like the Charlo fight, that's a bad idea. Because I think Charlo would I think Bud would have beat Charlo in a worse way than Canelo beat him. That's just my opinion. And then at the same time, I remember L.A.R wanted to fight Canelo. Whoa. The way that Bud beat Canelo, L.A.R, if L.A.R would have stood there in front of Canelo, it could have been worse too. So 50-50 fight, man. 50-50 fight. I'm more on Bud because both of these guys got a gang of championship experience. But I'm more on Bud's side on this one because he's constantly been in the fire. Like I said earlier, Canelo been hopping in and hopping out. And I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea when you fight a guy that's constantly in it and hungry versus you getting up for it when you feel like it. Few people can do that. Few people can do that. And that's what edges it for Crawford for me. It ain't even just the style and the switching styles, because people don't know, like when you switch styles, a lot of times your mind and your feet have a readjustment period. So like if he switches styles, there's a moment where Canelo could just walk him down because he ain't really adjusted yet. And if he catches him that, it's gonna be it can turn into a long night. But it's the same thing with with Canelo, like if he winds up in a situation where, and I'm gonna say this because Bud's talking about he can't lose rounds. If Bud gets ahead and you got to make Canelo fight to get in back into the fight, you got to make him, fight his way into a win. That's probably not a good look for Canelo because he's gonna be pressing and then he's gonna get pieced up. But this is, man, oh my goodness, this is gonna be a fight. This is gonna be a fight, and in some ways this can be a close fight. In some ways this could be a wash. Like somebody could get washed in this fight. So this is interesting, and they both weigh 167 and a half. Yeah. This is gonna get interesting. And you got and Bud. I mean, Canelo's a bigger puncher, but Bud's a stronger fighter, and people don't realize that. But I would say Bud's a stronger fighter. He's a stronger person than Canelo physically. So, oh my goodness, this is gonna get interesting. This is gonna get interesting. These are my 2 cents. I just can't wait to see the fight. Catch y'all tomorrow with the recap, I guess. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.